need to reform our tax system to incentivize innovation and investment in America. The United States once led the way in developing pro-growth, pro-innovation policies. We were the first in the world to offer companies an R&D tax credit, the first to allow universities to patent products originating from federal R&D funds. However, other countries have now caught up, and in many cases surpassed our country. In fact, the U.S. R&D tax credit is only incremental. More aggressive countries are now giving a flat tax credit for all R&D expenditures. Ambitious countries have shrewdly adopted the best American practices that have spurred technology innovations. And while other nations adopt and advance our earlier strategies, we're taking a step backward. We haven't even made the R&D tax credit permanent, even though many of us have tried to do this time and time and time again. That's bad enough. But as many of you know probably, we also impose one of the steepest corporate tax rates in the world, 35%. Only Japan surpasses us, but Japan is now looking to lower their corporate tax rate, which would give America the dubious honor of having the highest one in the world. Lowering the corporate tax rate would be a substantial part of any long-term tax reform for the innovation and support of our technology community. We must work to open our markets. We have free trade agreements now pending, and they have been pending for quite a while with Korea, Panama, and Colombia. We need to push those through right away and look for other areas that we can have free trade agreements with so that we can have more of a market for our goods. If we are going to really open our country to the innovation that we have always known in the past, we must look at the regulatory environment. If American businesses are going to live up to their vast capabilities, we have got to eliminate the heavy hand of government regulation that is stifling growth. The federal government continues to find really innovative ways to impose regulatory requirements on our businesses. In my role as ranking member of the Senate Commerce Committee, there are a few simple questions I ask myself when I am looking at a bill that comes in to authorize yet another regulatory burden. Is there a need for a regulation? Could the concerns that have arisen be worked out through the market activity? Those are the two questions that must be answered. If not, then it is just another gratuitous power grab by the federal government that is attempting to substitute its judgment for the marketplace and consumers. I have been working closely with my partner on the Commerce Committee, the chairman, Jay Rockefeller, to fashion comprehensive wireless spectrum legislation. After months of negotiation, we have agreed on a framework as of yesterday that we will move forward in the next couple of weeks. At its core, this bill will provide an allocation of spectrum to public safety, and combined with financial support from auction proceeds and governance reform, it will lead to the construction of a nationwide interoperable broadband network for first responders. This will fulfill the last outstanding recommendation of the 9/11 Commission. But there is good news for the commercial markets as well. The bill will take a broad approach that will free up considerable spectrum for commercial use in the next few years. Over the long term, it will help the government allocate spectrum more efficiently. Ultimately, this should produce as much as $400 billion in new economic activity through licensed and unlicensed uses of spectrum, a constant supply of new spectrum, and important new research and development activities. I believe it has become a good, balanced piece of technology legislation, and we will work with all of the stakeholders to address lingering concerns.